Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Hi, this is Lee Brower, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here, and I'm grateful and glad that you're here as well. One of my very favorite paintings is behind me right here. It's called Prayer at Valley Forge, and it's by Arnold Freeberg. You can see George Washington here praying in Valley Forge. You see the snow. The history behind that's December 19th, 1877. George Washington was about ready to lead his troops into Philadelphia. Congress didn't support him. He looked at his troops. They were basically in famine. He thought to himself, if I go into Philadelphia, that'll probably be the end of the revolution. And so he gathered his troops and they retreated to Valley Forge. And they hunkered down without food, without clothing, freezing. Many of them wrapped rags around their feet to try to keep them warm. For dinner on Christmas Eve, they had rice and vinegar. That was their meal. And George Washington said that he was in awe with gratitude. Absolute awe at the sacrifice and the willingness that these men made for our country. Now, I keep this painting here for two reasons. One, as a reminder for our family, for me and our family, of the power of prayer. And two, as a reminder of the sacrifice that our forebears, our forefathers made. People like Washington, from there to today, have made and continue to make this country a great country. Now, you've seen t-shirts around lately, or maybe you haven't. I've seen t-shirts that I really like that say, "Make America Grateful Again." Well, if we as leaders are going to make America grateful again, we need to have a plan. You don't just make it grateful. You got to have leaders have plans. So let's call this the Gratitude Action Plan. And I've identified 7 steps to help make America grateful again. What I do know is that it begins with each one of us individually. We don't snap our fingers on this. We have to ourselves increase our own gratitude. How do we do that? First thing we do is we start writing in a journal. That is the number one thing that we can do. The minute we start writing in a journal and asking ourselves in the morning and at night what we're grateful for, our body releases serotonin and dopamine in it. We automatically get this infusion of natural happiness, and that moves us more into gratitude. But we have to train ourselves to capture the things that we're grateful for that are around us. Now, not only should we be looking for just the super duper wonderful things, but number 2 is we have to learn how to embrace the not so good as well as the good. That's how we learn. In learning, we should be grateful for learning. So always make our learning greater than our experiences. And to do that, we have to capture some of the not so good experiences. And that gives us a contrast, allows us to celebrate more the good things as they happen. Third thing is we express it. I've often said, you've heard me say, gratitude unexpressed is ingratitude perceived. So express it, especially with your family and loved ones, over and over again. But you keep it to yourself, they'll look at you as being ungrateful, even if you're not. Fourth thing is enjoy the small things. You don't have to have big things to be grateful for. You can have very small things to be grateful for. Be like a little child. Be curious. You know, when I had cataracts removed recently, I couldn't believe the bark on a tree, how beautiful the sky was. And even the ants, there was an ant hill, and I got down and looked at it. I was so amazed that I could see the little ants. Enjoy the little things. Fifth is engage. Now, by engage, that means to be active, to be involved. It means building traditions with your families, and it also means being of service to others. The arrows are pointing out. And when the arrows are pointing out, that's when we're most happiest. That's when we express our expressions of gratitude, are when we are in service to others. And then pray. Number 6 is pray. Pray daily. Pray often. And I may pray a little different than you. Many times what I do is I visualize rather than state. And rather than put into words, I put into my heart and just visualize those things that are important to me. I visualize myself happy. I visualize my wife happy. I visualize us healthy and strong and vibrant and involved and doing great things. I visualize my children and my grandchildren happy and involved and doing great things and overcoming their challenges. I even visualize my enemies. But I probably visualize many of you when I know about your challenges. I see you happy and overcoming those challenges and moving forward. And then finally, the last one, if we're going to have an action plan, we need to be in action. So I'm going to challenge us for the next 7 days that we replace complaints, criticism, and gossip with gratitude. Are you willing to do that? I'm going to make an effort to, every time I think about complaining, or every time I think about criticizing, or every time I think about gossip, I'm just going to immediately go into beginning in gratitude, to go big. I'm going to go back and think, okay, what am I grateful for in this situation? Let's do it. Let's do it for a week. That's how we start to make America grateful, is it begins with us. Will you do it with me over the next week? Let me know how it goes. Let me know if you accept this. And if we miss a day or I miss an opportunity, I'm going to rally back. I'm not going to give up, and I'm not going to quit. We're going to do it for a week. Have a meaningful week. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks for being with me. Bye-bye.